as a software person, it's super exciting to be in the industry at this time, as there's so many dynamic companies and there's so many charismatic entrepreneurs working feverishly to give you the tools to shape the future. And our vision for what we want to do for you in our industry is simple, and it hasn't changed. And it's to simplify and accelerate, how we all conduct e-discovery by bringing it all together in an open and flexible and connected platform. And we're working towards making Relativity, your central hub. We want to make sure the platform is open and extensible, and it's fast and it's secure, and it's intelligent with embedded analytics and machine learning, and it provides very rich capabilities spanning the entire e-discovery lifecycle. We want to connect Relativity to everything, where identity can easily span across instances can connect to one another, and Relativity can connect to key sources of enterprise data and other market-leading e-discovery technologies. And our goal, we just want to make it easier and more seamless to automatically facilitate the transfer of data anywhere, reducing risk and significantly speeding up the process. And then we bring this community together, and with so many skilled professionals and organizations using the platform, we want to create an ecosystem where cross-party collaboration becomes easier. Best practices are shared. We share templates, we share applications, and we drive innovation at a much faster pace than ever before. And there's this vibrant and amazing community that invigorates and motivates all the members within it. An open technology platform connected and creating an amazing network effects for our users. This is what we ground our work in. And so we're entering a new era. What do we call it? Maybe it's the era that we transform e-discovery, we reimagine e-discovery. Maybe we'll just call it that, reimagine e-discovery. I got to tell you, I've thought about what powers this era are going to be the extensible SaaS platforms that will be the backbone of this industry, bringing speed, scale, AI and machine learning, strong security postures, and a global reach to anyone. And it's because of this is why RelativityOne is such an important component of executing our vision. And the business transformation that we're going through as a company, as we transition our delivery model to SaaS, really has been quite the journey. When we first took the product to market in February of last year, it was truly a slog at first. We were learning how to become a SaaS company, and so much of our organization had to learn to do things differently. And we would slowly build momentum, and now we're live with the offering for over a year, and it's working really well for our clients. And I'm so thankful and grateful to all of our customers who have partnered with us during our business transformation. Your patience and your support and your guidance has truly been invaluable. Now, when you're working day in and day out, you sometimes forget to appreciate how far you might have come. And I'm sure, all of you have been there when you're working on maybe these very long projects and initiatives. And I often feel that way as it comes to our own journey at Relativity. And I want to tell you guys a personal story. 2 weeks ago, I was talking to a buddy about a hiking trip that my wife and I took in the summer of last year, and I brought up the pictures from the trip on my iPhone, and my buddy started to swipe through them. So here's a vista of Crested Butte. That's where we took our Crested Butte, Colorado. That's where we took our hiking trip. Here we go. This is Jessica overlooking the city. Hey, we went on a little biking trip. There was a big pile of snow in June. I thought that was interesting, so we took a picture next to it. Then my buddy kept on swiping. And here's a picture of I tried this coconut water and I thought it was amazing, and so I wanted to buy more of it. I went with some buddies to a hot dog joint in the suburbs here called Gene and Jude's, and they really got the best hot dogs in the city. I would suggest you check it out. There was this picture of Tommy Boy in my phone. I'll often make fun of myself and refer to myself as the CEO of Tommy Boy, so I must have pulled this off of the internet and sent it to one of my executives or something. And the next photo was this. So this is a picture from our New Relic dashboards. And New Relic is the system that we use to monitor the performance and the end user experience of RelativityOne. And back in June of last year, we just had three customers in the platform. I don't know how many users in it, but it wasn't a lot, because in a 24-hour period, they only looked at 637 documents, and then the average time it took to render the documents was 3.4 seconds. So this was like a Tuesday night. And when I saw this picture, it hit me, because 15 months ago, there was barely anyone using the product. And especially as you compare it to a day just a few weeks ago. This right here is a day in August where we had over 1,000 people in the system. They viewed over 200,000 documents in a 24-hour period. The median time it took to render the document was 1/10 of a second. The average time was 4/10 of a second. Right now we're really actively trying to eradicate these long-running navigations, and we had 876 of the ones that took 15 seconds, and then we had about 200 of these that actually timed out. We've really come a long way. And I got to tell you, now that we're fully immersed in delivering our SaaS product, I really have had the opportunity to truly embrace and understand and why it works so well for customers. And it's really centered around our ability to learn and react. We can log into these systems and we can watch the system breathe. And we get so much rich insight in terms of what is happening with the end user experience, what is happening inside the technology. And we could see where it's healthy, where it's sick. And through better operational visibility, we can make the product better. And there's nothing more rewarding than to implement a change and then immediately see the benefits by watching these numbers improve. I got to tell you, it's addicting. I'm addicted. My engineers are addicted. And through this delivery model, our company can absolutely give you the best experience with our product, hands down. We've made a lot of progress in just a year and a half. And today, we have 29 customers in the platform who, through their step-up commitments in their final years, will see 673 terabytes of data under contract. And now RelativityOne is 11% of our total revenue under contract. And by working, I want to just thank our customers. And by working so closely with our customers, we've been learning how to shape the offering to best support you. And you've been telling us what you want from RelativityOne, and we've been working very hard to give it to you. You've told us that you really love having access to the latest of what Relativity has to offer, but upgrades need to be predictable, and you need the space to test your integrations and your applications. You've told us to open up in more geographies to help with your own international expansion. You've told us that protecting your customers' data is super important to you, and that you love what we're doing. You love it what we're doing in this space. But our most sophisticated customers have been asking for more. You told us that scale and throughput is important, but it's not necessarily about land speed records, but good, consistent performance. You told us that you want flexible data tiers to help you better manage your subscription because you use Relativity in different ways, and a matter has different stages in its life cycle. Finally, when I showed our customers those New Relic dashboards, the first response is always I want that. So let's walk through what we've done to improve RelativityOne for you. So the beauty of running a SaaS platform is that you can update the software at any time. We can do it to improve performance, resolve your issues, remediate security vulnerabilities, or add new functionality. And in fact, over the last 90 days, we've made hundreds of updates to the software. this is great, but what you told us is that you wanted more predictability to when you get new functionality, or we might do anything to break your integrations. And so we moved to a quarterly release cycle for feature and API changes. And we named them after Midwest prairie flowers because we have an amazing creative team and they thought that would be cool. Caused all kinds of chaos in our organization moving to this, but I love it now. And with each cycle, there's 5 months to it. First, we're going to update your preview environment and your sandboxes. And from there, you'll have 2 months to kind of explore the new features of Relativity and make sure that all your scripts, extensions, and applications work. And in the 3rd month, we'll then upgrade your tenant where all the new functionality becomes available. And then that version will be live for the next 3 months. And along the way, we'll continue to update the software on a regular basis and giving you security improvements and performance enhancements and defect fixes. So a new quarterly release cycle. So a major goal of us updating the release cadence was to allow you to more easily consume the release and update your apps and integration so you can have like a much faster innovation cycle. And so, RelativityOne does provide all the same platform extensibility that you have in the on-prem product. You can connect directly to SQL, you can write a relativity script, maybe a simple event handler or two, or develop full-on applications. So we give you these sandbox environments where we make it really easy for you to test your apps in an isolated environment. You can have multiple sandboxes and choose if the sandbox has the current production version or maybe the upcoming quarterly release. And for developers, we're making it easier in RelativityOne to develop apps by introducing tools to automatically update applications across your instances via publishing apps into a secure application repository in RelativityOne. Let me show you how it works. So the workflow is something like this. So you'll basically use your developer VM to build your app, and then you'll publish it into the R1 app repository. Then you'll log into your sandbox, where you can pull the application in, do your testing. If there's an issue, you can continue to iterate on it. When you're ready to deploy, you just push it into the app repository, then you pull it in. Let's say your thing is good now. Now you're safely to pull it in production. You just log into your production instance, pull it right in, off you go. There's some really cool work that's happening in this space, and the team is doing an amazing job here. We're also partnering with our most popular ISVs to make sure that their apps are ready for RelativityOne and ensure that with every release, they are supported and ready to go. So RelativityOne, it gives our customers a global reach, and you've been dictating and coaching us on which markets for us to enter. The platform is now available in 5 geographies, with our most recent being in Brazil, and by the end of the year, we plan to be available in the European Union by deploying in the Netherlands, and then Australia. So a lot of great progress in expanding our global footprint. So for all organizations, security is a super important topic, especially in any type of system where you're parking your data, because so much of your value and your reputation is tied into your ability to protect your data and the data of your clients. And we've been making huge investments in our security program, which is built around 3 main pillars of preventative defense, automated security processes, and transparent operations. And so when we mean preventative defense, our goal is to anticipate threats and attacks before they happen by staying ahead of our adversaries. And our security team, Calder 7, has an amazing team of engineers, analysts, and subject matter experts really tasked with protecting your data. A big part of our program is automating everything, from the collection and contextualizing of all that log and machine data to our workflow for managing threat and risk mitigation, and the systems in our software development lifecycle that help ensure that we don't introduce vulnerabilities in the first place. And then finally, we've developed hundreds of operational controls to ensure that we follow sound security practices. And the scope of our efforts include everything that we do, from the development of our application to the operation of it. And we've gone through all the rigor to achieve the ISO 27001 certification, along with SOC Type 1 and Type 2. Now, we're rolling out a couple new cool security services that I'm super excited about. And the first one is related to our SIM. You'd be like, what's a SIM? I'll explain to you right now. So as Relativity works, it generates a lot of machine data from the different components of the platform. And all that machine data is sent to a database that we call the SIM. And then our security team will then work with the SIM, and they'll analyze these logs for threats and vulnerabilities. They'll contextualize the data with almost 200 intelligent feeds to parse security-related events. They build rules and implement machine learning that will attempt to detect nefarious activity and continually fine-tune the system based on new threats and usage. Now, we do an amazing job in this space, and we're definitely exhausting all the steps for a thorough analysis, but there can always be a possible use case that only an internal security team might know. For example, when maybe the executives are traveling in a different country. And so sometimes a customer may want access to these logs to perform their own analysis. And so we're basically building capability where we allow our customers to connect between our SIM and theirs, or their MSPP, so they can get access to this information, giving customers the capacity to monitor their own environment if they choose to. We're super excited about this, and we call this Project Saturn. Yeah, so some security nerds might really appreciate it. Here's another thing that we're doing that's super cool, and our customers, in order to have full custody of their data, many customers have been asking us if they can provide and have control of the encryption keys that are used to encrypt all of their data at rest. And I'm excited to share that by the end of the year, we'll be providing this capability. Let me show you how it works. So our customers will provide and store the key that you want to use to encrypt your data. Our systems will then use that key to encrypt all of the persistent data in your tenant, the SQL data files, the SQL data, the files, the analytics indexes, the DT search indexes, the audit data stored in the Elasticsearch clusters. So, and as long as we have access to your key, we can access your data. Now, if something happens and you no longer want us to have access to your data, you simply go into your key vault, you revoke the key, and then essentially your tenant in RelativityOne is bricked. Without your key, no one has access to it. And if you want to light up the environment back again, well, just put the key back in and access is restored. The progress that we've made in this space has been amazing, and I'm super excited to continue to innovate and lead with our security posture. So this is another area that I'm super excited to talk about, and that's our new offerings around our data tiers. And so when we first went to market with the product, the licensing of it was pretty straightforward. Sign up for a subscription, and your subscribed amount would be the amount of data that you would publish in a review workspace, and then we would allocate a generous amount of storage in your staging area so you can store your pre-processed data, inventory files, and your exports, and house your ARM archives. Now, what we've learned is that you actually need more tools to help manage your subscription. And so we introduced two new storage tiers, repository and cold storage. A repository workspace effectively can be used for early case assessment or building superstructures of documents and work product that can be used in future matters. It's a workspace that's specifically designed for this type of use case. It has a slightly limited feature set, but a much more cost-effective rate. And with cold storage, we're making it easy for our customers to take any workspace and park it away for a fraction of the storage fee. And once in cold storage, it's very easy to get out and make it active again. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so when you take data in your raw data, you're gonna upload it through the RelativityOne Staging Explorer into your staging area. You can then take your data, then process it all into your repository workspace. And then your repository workspace, this is where you're gonna do all your culling, run your search terms. You can maybe run some like analytics and machine learning to identify your reviewable set. You're gonna push that into your workspace. You're gonna conduct your review. Then you could bring like the coding decisions back into the repository workspace for future reference. And then when you have the next matter, you can use all that information to define that reviewable set. And then if you have then when you run productions, bring those back into the repository too for future reference. Again, continue to leverage the repository to help define future reviewable sets. When you're done with your case, you can park it away for cold storage if you think it's going to come back. And if you think it's done, we'll just arm it and park it in your staging explorer or in your staging area. So there you go. Staging repository, review, cold storage, and ARM are five very powerful tools that we're giving you to help manage and get the most out of your RelativityOne subscription. Cool. So one of the main benefits of RelativityOne is its speed and its ability to burst resources to tackle large jobs, and it's super fun to show some of the high throughput jobs that we have ran through the system. We continue to make the system faster and faster every month, and so you have it when you need it. Upload speeds north of 100 gigabytes an hour, processing 2 terabytes of data in under a day, imaging over 650,000 documents in just an hour, producing 1 million images in just 3 hours. Great land speed records. And I think it's very comforting for our customers to know that they have the ability to burst to obtain this capacity when needed. But what we're really working towards is ensuring that you have consistent, good throughput, and we've been optimizing the system to do that. And so close to 5,000 processing jobs, 360 million documents, average discovered rate of north of 20 gigs an hour. 5,000 productions, average throughput, 180,000 images an hour. You can see the stats on imaging. Ensuring that we can consistently provide a good experience for all your end users across all of your active workspaces, including smooth operation of your batch processes, is a major tenet of RelativityOne. And so, we know that speed and scalability are important, and that there's a lot of value in knowing how Relativity is working for you, especially as it relates to end user actions and batch operations. And so a big area of focus has been performance transparency, and we're working on building a set of dashboards to give you real-time insight into how the system will perform. And so you'll be able to go into Relativity and understand your doc-to-doc rates, your query speeds, how fast some of your batch processes went. You can track individuals through the system, so if you received a call saying document viewing is slow, you can open it up and you can spy on them and then see what's happening, where they're coming from, what documents they're looking at. So more to come on that front.